lecture in this series, and today we will be discussing about carbanions, the basic concepts and some examples of carbanions. Before we go to carbanion, just to remind you that we are discussing carbanions under reactive intermediates, and as I have told you in the previous lectures that the important intermediates in organic chemistry, they are carbocations, carbanions, radicals, carb carbenes, arynes and carbynes. So we are discussing these one by one, and the common characteristics of these intermediates also we have discussed earlier in case of introduction to carbocations and other lectures in the series. So in the present lecture we will be discussing about carbanions. Carbanion is an anion in which carbon is trivalent. If you see this, there are three groups attached to the carbon, and then this is an unshared pair of electrons present, whereby the octet of electrons is complete, but this is a formal negative charge which is present on this carbanion, and they do not have any pi delocalization, and they may have trigonal pyramidal geometry or bent geometry or linear geometry, depending upon that how many number of groups they are attached to the carbon which is having negative charge. If there are three groups which are attached, for example in case of methyl anion, then this will be trigonal pyramidal. If there are two groups which are attached to the carbanion, for example phenyl anion, or one group for example in acetylide anion, then this will be a linear geometry, whereas when it is two, the geometry will be a bent geometry. The carbanions, they have sp3 hybridization with lone pair of electrons occupying one of the sp3 orbitals. So this is the sp3 hybrid orbital, which is having this lone pair of electrons present in the carbanions. And these carbanions, they can undergo inversion. So this molecule, this intermediate can invert if we supply a sufficient amount of energy to this carbanion. And the energy required for inversion from one position to the other position depends upon the type of groups which are attached to the carbanion. For example, if we are having a methyl carbanion, if these R groups they are equal to H, that means this will be a methyl carbanion. Then the amount of energy required for inversion is 2 kilocalorie per mole. Whereas if I replace these R groups by fluorine, if this is trifluoromethyl carbanion, then the amount of energy required for inversion is 120 kilocalories per mole. So you can yourself imagine that the kind of group attached at this position, that is the R group, will determine that how much amount of energy is required for inversion of this carbanion. And for example, if we are having a cyclopropyl ring attached to the carbanion, then the amount of energy required for inversion, this is slow down. For example, this requires 70 kilocalories per mole of energy for the inversion of this reaction intermediate to take place. Similarly, if I replace one of the carbon by nitrogen, that is aziridine molecule, if this is having the a lone pair of electrons, that is the carbanion is present on the nitrogen atom, then the amount of inversion barrier is 10 kilocalories per mole. And if you compare this with ammonia, ammonia is having only 5.8 kilocalories per mole of energy, which is required for inversion of the configuration in case of this carbanion. Then history of carbanions dates back to 1904, when W. Schlanck he prepared this molecule uh, from tetramethyl ammonium chloride and triphenyl methane sodium ion. When he treated these two for preparation of a pentavalent nitrogen, then this type of salt was recovered. And although he didn't name it as a carbanion, but this was the first report which told us that a negatively charged carbon species may occur. Then in 19,007, Clark and Lapworth, they first use of a carbanionic structure in the organic reaction mechanism in the reaction of benzoin condensation. So in benzoin condensation, we know that benzaldehydes they condense in presence of cyanide ions, and a carbanion is present as an intermediate in the reaction. So this was the second report which was there in case of carbanions. Then in 1914, again W. Schlag, he demonstrated that trimethyl radicals, when they are treated with sodium metal or any other alkali metal, they are reduced to carbanions. Then 1933, Wallis and Adams, the first time the word carbanion was introduced as the negatively charged counterpart of the carbanions. So this is the first example, tetramethyl ammonium chloride when reacted with triphenyl methane sodium. This gave us this type of compound. This was the first compound which was isolated by W. Schleck. Then properties of carbanions. Carbanions, they are formed by heterolytic cleavage of any this type of bond where carbon is having a delta negative charge and the leaving group is having a delta positive charge. So basically the leaving group goes as an electrophile having a positive charge, and only then a carbanion is produced. So here carbon is having the negative charge. So the electronegativity of the other group which is attached to carbon, that is generally lower than that of carbon. So the carbon carrying negative charge has 8 electrons in the valency shell, 6 from these three groups, and one is lone pair of electron which is present on the carbon. Then organometallic reagents like butyl lithium or methyl magnesium bromide, Grignard's reagent, they are also called as carbanions, but they are not the true carbanions because these are generally clusters or complexes. They contain a polar covalent bond where carbon is having an active charge, electrodensity is more on the carbon atom, but they are not true carbanions. So these, although these are considered as carbanions, and in the condensed phase, true carbanions they are not stabilized, but these can be studied in the gas phase. Then properties of carbanions, they have been isolated as truly ionic species in the condensed phase which are sufficiently stabilized by delocalization. So if we are having, say, this type of molecule triphenyl methane, when this is reacted with n-butyl lithium in presence of tetrahydrofuran as the solvent, and this crown ether 12 crown 4 also as one of the reactant which act as a phase transfer catalyst, and this forms a stable complex with the lithium ions present in the butyl lithium. So this n-butyl lithium is a very strong base. This will abstract this acidic proton. This proton is very acidic because of the presence of these three phenyl groups, because these will stabilize the negative charge produced on this carbon through resonance effect. So we will get these types of stable species where we are having this as the carbon. So this lithium crown ether salt of triphenyl methanide carbanion is formed from this reaction. So in addition to lithium, we are having a molecule of 12 crown 6 also in this salt of carbanion. Then stability of carbanion depend on that many factors. As we know that neutral intermediates they are more stable as compared to charged species. So any group which neutralizes the negative charge present on carbon will stabilize the carbanion. So depending upon the type of group present, we can have the stability dependent on these factors, that is inductive effect, resonance effect. Resonance effect means extent of conjugation of the anion. Then hybridization of the charge bearing atom. Charge bearing atom means the carbon which is having the negative charge. Then aromaticity of the carbanion will also determine the stability, will determine its stability. Then whether the carbanion is stabilized by sulfur or phosphorus atoms. Then carbanion is also stabilized by non-adjacent pi bonds. So either any of these factors or combination of these factors will determine that whether a carbanion will be a stable carbanion or an unstable carbanion. Now first is inductive fact. Inductive fact, we know that electron leasing groups attached to carbanion, they will increase the negative charge of the carbon. For example, if we are having, say, methylanion and monosubstituted methylanion, we know that this R group is an electron leasing group. That means this will increase the electron density on this carbon by releasing electrons from R to carbon. So that means overall it will increase the negative charge on this carbon. Therefore, this will destabilize this carbon ion. So as we move from here to here to here, that means as the number of alkyl groups they are increasing, the tendency to release electrons towards this carbon is also increasing. That means more the number of alkyl groups, lesser will be the stability of the carbanion, because higher electron density because of the presence of more number of alkyl groups will destabilize the carbanion. So that is why the unsubstituted methyl carbanion is much more stable than monosubstituted, than disubstituted, than trisubstituted. So more the number of alkyl groups attached, lesser will be the stability of the alkyl carbanion. So order of stability of various alkyl carbanions is that methyl is more stable than primary, primary is more stable than secondary, secondary is more stable than tertiary carbanion. Similarly, if instead of electron leasing we are having an electron withdrawing group attached to the carbanion. So what this will do, say one fluorine is attached, this will attract electron density towards itself. That means the negative charge experienced by carbon will be less in this carbanion as compared to this carbanion. So that means electron withdrawing groups, they will stabilize the carbanion. So more the number of electron withdrawing groups present on the carbanion, higher will be the stability of that carbanion. So that is why this carbanion is least stable, then this, then this, then this. The more the number of electron withdrawing group present on the carbanion, higher will be the stability of the carbanion. And as per the different functional group present at the alpha position, the stabilization of the carbanion will follow this order. Nitro will be the most stable because nitro has the highest electron withdrawing group, withdrawing effect, then keto group, then ester group, then SO2 group, then cyano group, then amide group, then halide group, then H, and then alkyl. So alkyl will be lowest in stability as far as carbanion comes. More the number of alkyl groups, lesser will be the stability of the alkyl carbanions. Then is resonance effect. As we have seen in case of carbocations, same thing. Benzyl and allyl carbanions, they are stabilized by resonance due to delocalization of electron density from carbanionic center to the pi system. So we can see over here when on the benzylic carbon we are having the negative charge. This negative charge is stabilized by resonance due to the presence of the pi bonded system of the aromatic ring, and we can have a number of resonating structures. So because of resonance, this carbanion will be more stable as compared to the alkyl carbanions where there is no resonance of the negative charge. Similarly, in case of allyl carbanion also there is a resonance because of the presence of this carbon-carbon double bond where delocalization of the electron density can take place on the carbanionic center. So similarly, if we are having two phenyl groups here, the number of resonating structures will be more, the stability will be more. And even if both these hydrogens they are replaced by phenyl, triphenyl methane, carbanion will be even more stable than the mono substituted benzylic carbanion. So higher the number of phenyl rings attached to the carbanion, higher will be the stability because number of resonating structures will be more in that case. So that is how benzyl and allyl carbanions they are more stable as compared to alkyl carbanions. Then is hybridization. The hybridization we know that depends on S character of the carbanion. More the S character, higher will be the stability of the anion. So for example, in case of sp hybridized orbitals, the S character is 50%. In sp2 hybridized carbons, the S character is 33%. sp3 hybridized carbons, the S character is 25%. So that means the compounds from which the carbanions they are generated having sp hybridization, because S character is more, the stability of that anion will be more. That means acetylides where the hybridization is sp, they will be more stable. The anions produced by acetylides, they will be more stable as compared to the sp2 hybridized or sp3 hybridized carbon atoms. So for example, in Purpurgyl anion, this type of carbon-carbon triple bonded anion, that is Purpurgyl anion, and this is propenyl anion carbon carbon double bond, and this is propyl anion carbon carbon single bond. Here we are having sp3 hybridization, here we are having sp2 hybridization, whereas in this case we are having sp hybridization. So s character is more in this case as compared to this, more in this case as compared to this. So higher the S character, higher will be the stability. So that is why this carbanion will be more stable than double bonded carbanion, than saturated carbanion. So this is how hybridization determines that which carbanion is more stable because of the amount of S character present in the hybridization of that carbon. So in some carbanion, the lone pair of electrons of the negative charge is involved in delocalization to add on to the aromatic character of the molecule. And we know that aromatic character gives an extra stability to any species which is formed. So for example, if we consider the case of cyclopentadienyl anion, this one, and uh, if you count the number of pi electrons present in this anion, there are 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2. There are 6 pi electrons, and we know that 6 pi electrons means this will obey the Huckel's rule, and this will be aromatic in nature. Whereas if we compare the stability of this cyclopentenyl anion, there are only 2 pi electrons, and this is not an aromatic entity, and that is why the stability of this anion due to aromatic character is 10 to the power 33 times more stable than this anion. And basically the reason for this extra stability of this carbanion is the presence of 6 pi electrons, which gives it an aromatic character, and aromatic character leads to an extra stability to that anion. Similarly, this cyclooctatetraene, if we react this with potassium metal, and 2 electrons they are moved from this molecule to give us this type of cyclooctatetraene dianion, and this dianion is having 10 pi electrons, and again this 10 pi electrons means this will obey 4n plus 2 pi rule, that is Hacker rule, will be obeyed by this anion, hence this will be an aromatic anion, and because of this aromaticity, this system is highly stable, this anion is highly stable, and the main reason for the extra stability of this anion is aromaticity. Then because of the presence of sulfur or phosphorus atoms in the carbanion, they also become more stable. So the stability increases if the carbon bearing negative charge is attached to a sulfur atom or a phosphorus atom. And the exact reason is not known, but this may be because of the p pi d pi bonding. So pi orbitals from the d orbital, pi electrons from the d orbitals of the sulfur or phosphorus, and p pi electrons of the carbanion, they can undergo overlapping, which is called as p pi d pi bonding, and because of this the extra stability to the carbanion is given by this uh, presence of these sulfur or phosphorus atoms at the adjacent position. So delocalization of the pi bond can take place like this, and because of this these type of carbanions will have extra stability. Then is the carbanions, they can also be stabilized due to the non-adjacent pi bonds. This is not very common. Examples are there if we compare this with the carbocation. In carbocation, there are many reports about the stabilization by non-adjacent pi bond. But in case of carbanions, only few examples they are there where we have seen the stabilization of the carbanion by interaction with the non-adjacent pi bond. So, for example, in this case, camphenylalone, this is a natural product. If we take an optically active camphenylalone A and we treat it with a strong base uh, because these protons they can be removed by this strong base and a carbanion can be generated like this. And this carbanion can undergo interaction with the non-adjacent pi bond present at carbon oxygen system, and this B can be converted into this type of carbanion C, where interaction of non-adjacent non-adjacent carbons they have taken place. You can see over here the carbon adjacent to this carbanion is either this one or this one, but this has interacted with this carbon which is having a pi bonded system, which is a non-adjacent pi bonded system. So as we the formation of this C can be proved from the following points, that as you can see here, the first step is a reversible step, and we have started with an optically active caffeinolone. So if this is a reversible step, that means this can take up any H positive ions and give us back this one. So formation of carbanion being reversible step can lead to the racemization of the A in recovered substrate, as carbanion formed is a symmetrical one. So this is a symmetrical carbanion. So either from above side or from below side, H positive can attach and racemization of this can take place. So because of reversible nature, we can get a racemic mixture of the reactant if this type of carbanion is formed. And then this was actually recovered, the racemic mixture of A was actually recovered after the experiment. Then second point to prove that was that if we use deuterated solvent, so what will happen? Tertiary potassium butoxide with deuterated tertiary butanol is used. Then deuterium solvent will be used in exchange of hydrogen atom H positive. So that means rate of deuterium uptake will be equal to rate of racemization, and this was the actually which was found in the experiment. And then the recovered A contained 3 atoms of deuterium per molecule. So 3 atoms of deuterium uptake can only be possible if this type of carbanion is formed. Otherwise, only 2 atoms of deuterium is possible if carbanion B is present. So the use of 3 atoms of deuterium per molecule in racemization can only take place if there is an existence of uh, carbanion having structure C. So this can lead to exchange of deuterium at 3 places. So add this and add this. So 3 atoms of deuterium per molecule can be taken up only if C is formed. B can only give us 2 atoms of deuterium per molecule. So this proves that there is an existence of this type of carbonyl, and this type of carbonyl can only be formed if there is a stabilization by non-adjacent pi bond. Then generation of carbanions, that how we can produce carbanions. Carbanions can be produced by a number of methods. First is by proton extraction, or they can be produced by decarboxylation, or by addition of nucleophile to any alkene, from dithyranes, from organometallic compounds, from phosphorus and sulfur chelates, and either from chiral carbanions. So first is from proton abstraction. So you can see the number of examples given over here. In all these examples, if you see closely, we are having a carbonyl group adjacent to a carbon bearing hydrogen atoms. So because of the presence of this carbonyl group, these protons, they become acidic protons, and that means these can be abstracted very easily because of the presence of this carbonyl. And if these can be easily abstracted by the base, that means we can generate carbonyl on these carbon atoms. So this is an example of ketones. Ketones react with amide ions, which are strong bases, and carbonyl can be generated by abstraction of this proton. Similarly, 1,3-diketones, because of the presence of these two ketones, these protons, they become acidic, and alkoxide ions, they can easily remove any of these protons, and carbonyl can be generated. Then ketoesters, again these protons, they are acidic, they can be removed by alkoxide ions, and we can easily get carbonyls as the product. Similarly, diesters, they can also, these are diesters, they can also undergo abstraction of protons to give us carbonyls as the product. Then esters also, they can produce carbonyl, because these protons, they will be acidic protons. Then these types of compounds, they are called as active methylene compounds. So these methylene groups, they are these protons, they are very acidic due to the presence of these two electron withdrawing groups, cyno over here and ester group over here. And such type of molecules, they can easily undergo abstraction of proton by a base. Say hydroxide ion can abstract this proton, and carbonyl can be generated. So these are the example of active methylene compounds producing carbonyls. So similarly, nitroalkanes, they, because of the presence of electron withdrawing nitro group, this proton becomes very acidic, and in the presence of a base, these can be easily converted into carbonyls. So there are number of examples wherein the carbonyls can be generated by proton abstraction. So only condition for proton abstraction is there must be present a group which will facilitate the abstraction of that proton, and generally that group is a carbonyl or any other electron withdrawing group present adjacent to that carbon which is having the acidic proton. Then is through decarboxylation of carboxylates, also carbanions can be formed. This is a very general reaction. Any carboxylate, if this undergoes decarboxylation, we will get carbanions as the product in addition to carbon dioxide which is produced. Then is addition of nucleophiles to alkenes. We know that nucleophile will add to alkene, and by shifting of the pi electrons to this place, we will get these types of intermediates, which are carbonyl intermediates. Then from dithiones, also we can produce carbanions, and these dithiones, they can be produced from 1,3 propane thiols, dithiols. On reaction with aldehydes, we will get these types of cyclic structures which are dithiones, and because of the presence of these sulfur groups, these can react with butyl lithium or strong base, and this hydrogen can be abstracted to give us these types of carbanions, and these carbanions, they can be used for the synthesis of variety of organic functional group transformations. Then is formation of organometallic compounds can also lead to the formation of carbanions. So metals which are less electronegative than carbon, like magnesium, lithium, potassium, sodium, zinc, mercury or lead, they can react with alkyl halides under appropriate condition to form a carbon metal bond. For example, this is very common reaction. We know that alkyl halides, they react with magnesium to give us Grignard reagent. RMGX is a Grignard reagent. Similarly, alkyl halides, they react with lithium metal to give us alkyl lithium compounds, and these alkyl lithium compounds, they can act as carbanion at the R part, and this is a positive part. Metal is a positive part, and alkyl part is the negative part, and it will act as a carbanion. Similarly, these terminal terminally unsubstituted acetylenes, they can react with sodium metal, and carbanions, they can be produced. Sodium acetylide is produced where carbon is having the negative charge. So in all these types of reactions, the polarity of the carbon is reversed from positive in the reactant to the negative in the organometallic compound. So generally, in case of say here, the polarity of R is positive, X is negative. But when the reagent is formed, R becomes negative and rest of the molecule becomes positive. So such a change in polarity or reversal of polarity in the nature of the carbon is seen in case of organometallic compounds, and this is known as ampolon. So all reactions where the polarity of the reactant is reversed as compared to polarity in the product is called as ampolon reactions. So this I have already told you that alkyl halides, they react with magnesium to give us Grignard reagent, and this is also here the polarity is reversed. R has become negative, whereas in the reactant R was positive. So such a condition is called as ampolon. Then is generation of carbanions from phosphorus and sulfur chelates. These phosphorus and sulfur chelates, they are very important reagents in organic synthesis, and they are generated from the reaction of say phosphorus chelates. They are generated from the reaction of triphenyl phosphine with alkyl halides. So what will happen is that this alkyl halide will react with phenyl magnesium triphenyl phosphine. So CH2 from here will add to the triphenyl phosphine. Br from here will react with the lithium. Lithium bromide will be formed, and one hydrogen will react with R, and an alkane will be formed. So these types of molecules which are called as phosphorus ylides, and you can see over here the carbon is having the negative charge. So this is acting as a carbanion. And similarly in case of sulfur, these types of sulfonium halides, sulfonium iodide in this case, will react with base. This base will abstract this proton from here, and this will become a carbanion. So these types of carbanions, they will be formed, and these are called as sulfur ylides. And these carbanions, they are very reactive. Phosphorus or sulfur ylides, they are very reactive, and they can undergo variety of reactions in organic synthesis. Then is chiral carbanions. So the first evidence for the existence of chiral organolithium compound was obtained in 1950, when the reaction of optically active this 2-iodooctane was done with secondary butyl lithium in presence of petroleum ether at very low temperature of the order of minus 70 degrees centigrade. So when this reaction was done, the product was one was racemic 2-methyl butyric acid from this reagent, and from this reagent we got, after carboxylation, this type of optically active compound, which are formed from a optically active carbanion, that is a chiral carbanion has produced this chiral compound. And here this 2-methyl secondary butyl lithium plays very important role as a base to produce these chiral carbanions. Then other examples of chiral carbanion, for example, in case of cis 2-methyl cyclopropyl bromide, this is cis 2-methyl cyclopropyl bromide. When this is reacted with isopropyl lithium, this is isopropyl lithium, what this will do at 0 degree centigrade using cyclohexane as the solvent. So this will interact with this halide group, and Br will get substituted to this isopropyl lithium, and lithium will get substituted to this to generate a carbanion. So this type of chiral carbanion will be produced, and this chiral carbanion will undergo carboxylation in presence of aqueous sulfuric acid, and these types of optically active carboxylic acids, they are formed. And if we start with the cis reactant, we will get cis 2-methyl cyclopropyl carboxylic acid. That means the configuration retention of configuration take place in the product formation. And then another example is this one. This is S 1 bromo 1 methyl 2 diphenyl cyclopropane. So here also, if this is reacted with N-butyl lithium in presence of ether at 35 degrees centigrade, this N-butyl lithium will interact with the Br over here. So Br will go to butyl bromide will be formed, and a carbanion will be generated at this place, and this carbanion will be a chiral carbanion. And this on reaction with methyl alcohol, this carbanion will abstract proton from here, and we will get these types of chiral product with retention of configuration. So this S will produce R product, this, but configuration, retention of configuration is taking place. This is S because here priority was more as compared to this is the fourth priority element. So that is why this is written as R. So these are the books and other internet sources which have been used for preparing this lecture. Thank you very much.